Hi, my name is Tiago Paiva, Global Head of Ecommerce at Maersk. So today I'm going to speak about one of the most complex, expensive, and powerful levers in logistics, last mile. So I will bet that some of you thought I was going to say ocean and containers when you saw Maersk label, Maersk name, but no, actually it's fair to say we are recent in this space. It's a recent journey that we are doing, so that's a little bit what I'm going to speak about. The learning curve we took from the initial analyzing the end consumer until where we are working with AI and optimization. So to start, of course, we start our journey looking to the end consumer. What are the expectations of the end consumer? What is the end consumer demanding from us and that we need to tackle? Second question, what our customer wants? What are their main pain points and how should we tackle those? How should we build our value proposition into this product and go to market with? And then we move immediately to AI. No, just kidding. What we did a step back or a step forward. In this situation, Maersk decided to do a series of companies acquisition to be able to acquire and bring knowledge and experience and put all together and merge all together to be at the stage we are today. So we did that. So I was saying we start with the end consumer. So convenience, speed, selection, price. You probably all know about this, but it's really good for context. It's no longer nice to have. There are expectations that we need to meet. There's no other option that we do it. Convenience at my door, my doorman, at work, or even at my mother's house. It's cheap, but I want to change to a locker, pickup point. I need to adapt. Speed, next day delivery. 3 to 5, same day delivery. We need to adapt. Selection, all mentioned above, I need to be able to give these options to the customer. No questions asked. Price, of course, we want to optimize the price for all the types of services we are able to do. So, I don't know if you heard about Keno model. It's a typical frameworking product that I like a lot that basically categorizes the experience of your customer and the impact that each feature or service have in their feelings. And this 4 is what in the model you call must-haves. It's the basic. You need to deliver this. Otherwise, you're a risk not losing a parcel, but you're actually risking losing a customer. And the impact is really, really high. So that's why brand-facing last mile is a brand-facing step for the consumer. And what is the first step? So the first step is when we set the expectations of this. If we say we're going to deliver in 3 to 5 days, we set expectations. 3 to 5 days, that's what we need to deliver. And this is a must-have. It's not delightful, like the other category in the framework, if we deliver on time or even early. It's their expectations, it's the basic we need to deliver. And what happens if we are not able to do that? So in the x-axis, it's the days to deliver the order. Can you guys guess in the y-axis what it is? So it's basically the level of anxiety of the end consumer. And this is not 100% supported by data. I created this plot just for the sake of explaining the impact that we have and demanding end consumer that we have today in the market. So if we miss by a day, it always immediately has a big impact on the customer. Doesn't matter the warehouse, the disruption in the network, the weather, the last mile carrier, what happened, even if it's our fault or not, what we control, we don't control, the impact is really high in the consumer, is really high in the brands. So, nevertheless, there's also data that's supporting what I'm stating in the previous slide. So the data that the market's saying is that if, and this is basically the same situation, but with the data that the market is giving to us. If we have estimated delivery date that is not 95% accurate, it does more harm than good. Meaning that if I say I will deliver the 3rd of June and I deliver it 2nd of June, this is bad. If I deliver at 4, this is also bad. So having the right estimation of time when the order will be delivered, if you are not almost 100% right that you guess it right, it's better not to say it at all. This is the kind of impact we are seeing. And of course, you get crazy end consumers. Okay, so one of the first problem statements and things that we understood we need to tackle, customer experience. We need to nail customer experience. We need to be state of the art, giving a good customer experience to the customer. And how to do that? Mastering complexity, because this is a really complex space, but requires a lot of simplicity. So master the complexity, block and enable our customers to bring the simplicity to the customer. And we are talking about managing a lot of things to deliver a package that we can say running shoe or t-shirt from 3 days to 5 in a lot of fronts. And that's one of the problems we need to face. And one of the conclusions we did in this learning curve in the past 5 years, it's basically last mile in the just a logistics challenge. It's a loyalty driver, like a lot of other products in Maersk. And that's one of the problems we want to focus on in our value proposition. So, second problem statement that we really need to nail. So one, we already know the demand that the end consumer is. It's really demanding. So what is the second problem? Second problem statement is this data can say a lot. Last mile delivery can represent more than 40% of the total logistic costs. So if we think about all the issues that we can encounter in a network, the potential to gain and optimize this network to improve cost on our overall to a company is really, really high. So the second point that we need to go deep and make sure we help our customers is on cost and how to optimize cost, because it has a significant impact in his company, in his brand. And of course, why is complex? Because multi-carriers that we can handle. These carriers, some of them inconsistent multi-carriers with different service levels, different pricing models, different performance standards that all of them have, and we need to manage all. Different types of parcel. We can talk about a t-shirt, a running shoe, or also a perfume, a sofa. A lot of things that can create complexity on the type of parcel. Then comes tech, and everyone knows the difficulty to manage this. And this market, as we saw, is really, really demanding. We need to know almost in real time where our parcel is, when it's going to be delivered, when it's going to arrive, when it's being shipped. We need to know all of that in all this complexity. So all the data silos, the poor integrations, or even the good ones that have small mistakes, it's really hard to manage this complexity. And of course, the scaling challenge that we face every day with different geographies. Here we have mapped some of the complexity in Europe. We also do the same thing in US. And if we merge both regions, it becomes even more complex and even more difficult to give a good service to our customers. So how Maersk is managing this complexity? We basically start just mapping our parcel journey. Simple graph that put us all the steps that the parcel need to go to deliver that simplicity that we talked in the beginning. So we go and pick up the parcels from the warehouse. Could be a Maersk warehouse. It could be the customer warehouse, but then needs to go through customs, through milk run pickup, Maersk sorting centers. Currently in Europe, we have more than 8. Then it goes to deep injection network, final mile carriers. We have more than 100 carriers integrated in our network. And then finally, we deliver the parcel. So as you can see here, it's a lot of complexity, but a lot of potential. Potential to look to each of these stages and see where can I start to optimize to solve my second problem statement, the costs. So, how we are tackling this complexity? In all these journeys today, we decided to talk about how we are using AI and optimization to solve two of these. There are several things that we are doing at this moment in different areas, but one of the ones that we wanted to focus here today, and it's because it's the really important topic at the moment, and we wanted to address and share a little bit our journey and what we are doing and what we are gaining by using this. So we are using in two fronts. One, in network design optimization, helping us design the network. And two, what is the best parcel routing for my customer's parcel to optimize the route of their parcel. So on the first one, we are, as we can say, in Maersk in a hyper-growth stage for last mile product, even in Europe and US. So deciding how to build that network is critical for us. And it's really important to gain that potential and to get that potential optimization costs to bring that costs or that optimization to us and to also to the customer. So planning the network is crucial. So where should I locate my hubs? Where should be the sorting centers located? Who should be my partners? Who should be the carriers that I use so I can create the best and optimized network so I can reduce the cost and I improve the experience? Second is the planning of resources. So capacity here is also really important when you're building the network. What is the capacity each sorting center, each trade lane, each carrier, so I can put the network working. And this is what we call strategic design, tactical planning. But then comes the top of the pyramid, the operational execution. So I have all built, but what is today, now that I'm at checkout and I select buy this item from this customer, what is the best lane for each parcel that I'm shipping with Maersk? How can I minimize the cost for our customer and still fulfill the SLAs and the experience? So I will talk a little bit independent from both of them. I will not go too deep on the AI, what you're doing, but more on the results and a little bit what was our path, what was our learning curve, what we learned, what we are doing to still continue to optimize. So, as you probably know, in AI world, everyone I think knows about this. The quality of the output, it's equal to the quality of the input. If you don't have really good input, doesn't matter if you have the best AI model in the world, you will not get a good output. So to design the network, what we did was we have control of all the data that we have inserted in our systems, from the fulfillment centers, the sorting centers, all the last mile carriers, all the information from those last mile carriers, what type of services, the days to deliver from one location to the other, the capacity of the sorting centers, all in one place so we can use to predict the output. Then another one really important that we are using AI also as an input. We have machine learning models that basically create a pattern of demand. They forecast the demand I will have with the customers to be able to put in the system to optimize the network. Then I get the results. What are the results? Is basically what are the routes that can better define where should I put my sorting centers based on the demand that I forecast. The demand that I'm forecasting not only with my current customers, but also the demand that I'm forecasting with my future customers that are coming, with data from the market, for instance, or from my pipeline. And all of that to design the network that will give me more optimization on the costs and the experience. And to guarantee the increase of coverage and also to optimize the costs and the SLAs. Second problem we are using AI to solve. Baby steps, of course, but big impacts that we are seeing already. So, as I said before, and I say it again, I will repeat, the quality of the output really depends on the quality of the input. So one of the things that we did was we have two types of inputs in this model. This model, basically, it's an optimization model that try to find the best optimal route for a parcel in almost real time. So we have two types of input that we created. The typical static, so I need to insert all of the information from all the carriers that I have, from cost, the cost per weight, the cost, the transport cost for all of them, the network capacity for each one of them, the carbon footprint for each shipment that I will have, the carrier's volume agreement. All of that I need to have as a static input. But then I have also models, forecasting models, that allow me to create new type of inputs. For instance, a good example is I will no longer consider the interval that a certain carrier give me. From 3 to 7, normally, it's the interval that I have. This is a static input that I consider. But then I use another one. Based on the data that I have today, I know that specific carrier for that specific area will be around 3.8 days. Then I use that number. And my model will start to optimize the results for that. The carrier performance, the network disruption, or the demand patterns. For instance, I can daily, I'm trying to forecast what is going to be the volumes of all my customers. So I can even do mix-match optimization, meaning that if I'm forecasting all my customers' demand, all the orders that I will ship for a certain day, I can optimize what is the best route for each parcel of my customers, for each parcel that I'm shipping for them. And another one, network disruptions. Every time we have a disruption, something happens and we need to change. We can insert that as a variable to take in consideration, and immediately, in a matter of seconds, that the model can consider and change the route because of that disruption. And then we have what we call explainable routing service, is what we are currently using. It's basically the model explains itself. So he explains why he's taking these decisions, why this is so important to us. We can be agnostic. So we can put the AI model taking all the decisions. He runs the show. We don't care about anything else because he's taking all the decisions. But one thing that we also understood was there's also not the best way to do it today. There's too many data that we miss, too many feelings that the customers have, engagement that are necessary to take in consideration. So one of the things that we did, we allowed the model to have configurations. So if you're a customer and for a certain area, certain zone, you don't want to use a certain carrier, you can configure that. And the model runs again and we remove that carrier. Or for another area, you want to use a specific carrier. You have an awesome relationship with them. You want to grow volume with them. So yes, we can configure, and for that, it will optimize. It will get that best route. Imagine that we have a strike, and it will disrupt all of our shipments. We know about that strike. And what we do, it's basically we input manually that information in the model, and in real time, all the parcels will shift for other places, so you don't have a big impact in your brand. And these are the two main problems that we are tackling with the current solutions that we have in place. Some high-level results, just that we are seeing some impact. 35% reduction in SLA's variance. Doesn't matter the numbers. It's actually the step-by-step that we're taking. We are seeing this improvement in the optimization. Why? Because it represents 40% of the total cost. So even 1%, every 1% we gain, we almost do a party in Maersk. Because this is so difficult to get this optimization, it's really important to get these numbers to go and get this potential that exists currently in the market. Because it's so complex, there are so many areas that you can optimize still in terms of costs. So reduction of 80% in the last 6 months, faster cross-region delivery and new trade lanes that we open since last year. And that's it. Hope you enjoy it, and hope you had a lot of questions, because I'm here alone today in the stage. We were supposed to have a customer, didn't appear, and I'm expecting some questions from you. Thank you very much, and go and see us in our stand also if you want. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, Tiago. Paul Needham from CP Research, journalist. Could you, if possible, go back to your final slide with the results? or what you've achieved so far. So I suppose the logical question would be, based on what you've gone there, what you've achieved so far over a certain period of time, are you now going sort of back to your carriers and trying to adjust the service level agreements? What are the consequences of these achievements? Are you talking to customers, talking to carriers? What can you actually, let's say, implement as a next step based on these achievements? Thanks.
Good question. So, yes, impacts a lot relationships, impacts a lot engagement. Why? Because normally we saw that this market is a lot also about relationships and contracts related to volume. So some of this is really difficult to manage in certain cases, but at the same time, it's also helping the market to move on and to move forward. So, and this is, for instance, good analysis that we have is when we use what we call a national carrier or a regional carrier. When is the best way to do it? And those decisions, when the model come to us and say, this is the best routing, and we see, okay, we are start using more of the regional carriers to have more optimization. But for instance, and also we see that the experience reduces. So what is the optimal solution on these cases? We use this information to, for instance, negotiate and talk with the carriers. Let's go to the regional carrier. Why the service, it's not that good? You said between 3 to 5, what we are seeing is more close to the 5. And this is impacting a lot our selection and our usage and our what we agreed in terms of volume. Same thing with the big players. Normally you tend to have bigger volumes allocated to them, but if we see a decrease on experience or the cost is too high, it's also difficult to manage. So the good part here that I see is also the ability to manage relationships with this data. This is the direct impact of using some modeling and using the data to gain advantage. There are, of course, other ways. You can go directly and negotiate with the carrier, and immediately you update that information and you see the impact. So this is the direct impact of that. So it could be related to two things: is the model is getting better, or the model is allowing us to be better overall. For instance, go to a new carrier or go to other carriers or the same carrier and have a better chance to negotiate with them. Thank you very much. Thank you.